What's up, guys? Coach Gaglione here. This is a Gags Goals update. So just wanted to do a quick episode today. So this is some training at the Bear Cave. You can kind of see that I'm doing some squats with accommodating resistance, and I'm doing some squats and heels. I also do some deadlifts and heels. So this is typically not how I train. I am weaker in heels. I'm stronger in flat shoes. Also using a slightly closer stance than normal. So one of the things that I like to do when I'm in a weight loss phase, or if I'm in a phase where I'm intentionally trying to not be so competitive or like deloading, I'll do some variations that I know I'm weaker in and that I'm just not going to be able to put a lot of weight on the bar. So that can be potentially a good strategy. The other thing that could be good is just do something that you've never done before potentially, or something that is further away from the competition lift. So you don't get so romantic and so wrapped up with how much weight you're using, and just kind of getting in your head if you are, weaker, going lighter, those sorts of things. Especially when you're dieting, especially when you're dropping a weight class, you need to give yourself some time. And sometimes could be really tough on the mind to kind of know that you are not using the same loads that you normally do. Those sorts of things. And then one thing I will say that it's also been kind of helping me, especially kind of this year in particular, putting the primary focus on my performance, on my strict curl has been helpful. So I'm just kind of viewing the squat, the bench, the deadlift as more assistance exercises. And I'm just not overly concerned with what I'm doing. If I do a 600-pound deadlift versus a 585 deadlift, it's really not going to hamper my curl performance too much at the end of the day. Same thing if I'm squatting, those sorts of things. So on this particular day, like I said, I'm also going to continue to use straps for the deadlift. And again, I typically do not pull in heels, but again, I'm just not too worried about it. I'm just kind of getting some general work in for my back and legs. So I'm not as concerned with just having special footwear, special circumstances, pulling on specific bar. If I use pounds plates, if I use kilo plates, I'm just trying not to really sweat the small stuff so much anymore. So, but overall, this was a fun session. The other thing I think that, for me, lifting is social. Lifting is kind of fun to do with a group, especially with the barbell training. For my accessory training, I prefer to do that alone. So I think that's kind of good to sometimes, put your headphones on or not, and just kind of get to work. But in terms of like the barbell stuff, I really think that training the crew is where it's at. I'm going to continue to be an advocate for that. I just think it's just better. I just think for me, it's good for especially a lot of young men to be working toward a common goal with other young men. And same thing, goes for women. But I think that, sometimes, men, we kind of tend to be more to ourselves on average, and just not be as social. So I just did a bunch of sets here, again, with, like I said, squats with heels, deadlifts with heels, conventional stance. So other things that you guys could do, you could do opposite grip. So if you normally do wide grip, close grip bench, if you normally do sumo deadlifts, do conventional deadlifts. Just some things to kind of work on some different skills and just be more well-rounded. And that's it for today. Until next time, stay strong. See you soon.